TLauncher. This is a topic that is becoming more and more discussed every day. We have already released 100 videos, conducted 100 exposes and asked 100 questions to various companies that, according to our suspicions, are covering up this story. Behind all this is, as you might have guessed, none other than our favorite so-called hackers. Again, the word so-called is important here. Although, let's be honest, gentlemen, anyone who has dug deeper into this topic has not been able to move away from it. That's why I want to check TLauncher again, to answer some questions and surprise you with the fact that TLauncher carefully hides some secrets. And unfortunately, I can't show the code, because TLauncher has enough resources not only to block videos, but also for legal prosecution for disclosing their code. I mean, well, with money. You know that they'll **** me with money for this. So let's start with the simple. I'll start with the fact that TLauncher attracted the attention of many. There were YouTubers, labs, millionaires, experts, super experts, stupid people, goats. This is not the right topic for tiers, sorry, and other specialists. But if this is not about the quality of their code, what can I say? They were digging not in the launcher itself, but in their installation. You might say, wait a minute, but there is a launcher in the installation. Yes, but no one has cancelled such a thing as an update. We need to dig in the launcher after the update. And the installer may give the wrong version, it may give an old version, and then after installation the launcher may update. Hello, if you don't know what an update is, this is a fatal error that many people suffer from. But let's start small. I'm sure many will immediately write in the comments, but are there viruses in this launcher, or can I rest easy?
Rest easy?
Rest easy. Let's take a deep breath and figure out whether there are viruses or not. Decompilation of the launcher failed due to its good obfuscation. There is also, of course, reverse engineering. But there were some minor problems with it too. But now you will say, but wait, there is a version for Linux and Mac, why don't you consider them? The answer is simple. I need to know the full truth, and installing these versions may not provide all the necessary information. That's why I chose a version that will not be updated and will not be able to hide from logging. To be more precise, I am watched by more than 5% in favor, who are sitting on the video. And if I show you another version, then it's 100% not an X. These are completely different fucking versions. But for different operating systems. You say, it seems like the same launcher? Ha, damn it, not quite the same. A nail here and there, damn it. Thus, the .exe file came under my sights. In fact, the .exe is also updated like this, if we'll keep it a secret. But this, by the way, if you look at the voucher, it will weigh 200 megabytes. But with the condition of a full update, it can reach 500 megabytes. Why so much? Who the hell knows yet? I can't tell. They'll ban me again. After installing and using it, I can say the following. You can safely use the launcher, but be prepared for things like disclosing your personal information. Your license account data will be leaked, your machine will be taken over, your computer password will be changed, and you will be registered on OnlyFans. You will start donating to Apex Legends, you will play Fortnite. Oh, that's not the list. This is not a complete list yet, but it doesn't seem particularly scary yet. You know, for schoolchildren it's not scary at all, I think. Just don't tell me you're really afraid of this. Oh, calm down, that's it, just leave a like at least and I'll continue with the information. Did you put it? Well done. I'll move on to the second question. I was told that there were viruses and there was an archive with one password. But the other showed that it was not a virus. They say, the antivirus should react to this. That's when I realized that this person is not all right in the head, since he has experience. But how? He has experience, he's a good guy, he tried to prove it. But he went in the wrong shape. At first he started the path well. But in the middle and at the end he completely shit on it and left. He didn't even intend to reach the end, actually. I'm even ashamed of that. But everyone has the right to make mistakes. So let me help you figure this out. Antiviruses can scan files at different stages when you manually extract files from the archive. Antivirus software can immediately check them for malicious code. That is, when you extract them from the archive, the antivirus software can immediately do it without you. That is, you don't even warn the antivirus software. It immediately goes, aha, you're talking some kind of crap. Bro, let me stop you and at least check what the hell you're doing, okay? However, when installing a program, especially if the installer unzips the archive itself, the antivirus may not scan these files in real time. or ignore them until they start functioning as malware. Now if you want the facts, no problem, listen very carefully, because there will be a lot of information, but there is no other way to explain it. That's what the very first thing is: manual extraction and scanning. Many antivirus programs, such as Avast Antivirus, scan files in real time, or on excess scanning. This means that when you manually extract files from an archive, they will hide from malware immediately. That is, it checks everything at once. And services such as VirusTotal allow users to upload files for scanning, where they check multiple antivirus engines. This shows that antivirus programs may actively scan files when an explicit extraction action is performed. Second, scanning during installation. Installers may use a special method to unpack and install files that may not immediately trigger antivirus scanning. For example, Fred Micro's Office Scan offers an option to scan compressed files. But this may increase installation time and resource usage, indicating that such scans do not always occur automatically or in real time. Also, some antivirus programs may perform scheduled or manual scans after the program is installed, rather than during the installation itself. This means that malware may remain undetected until it becomes active or is detected in subsequent scans. And here comes the third phase: the scanning phase and behavioral analysis. Modern antiviruses use a combination of static scanning, or more precisely signature-based file checking, and dynamic scanning, or behavioral analysis. Dynamic scanning may not be activated until the malicious code becomes active, which may happen after installation. There is such a thing as intelligent scanning, where antiviruses can check not only the files themselves, but also their behavior in the system after unpacking or installation, which may explain why some viruses are not detected until... Wait a minute. Information. Intelligent scanning. This is when the antivirus doesn't just look at files like pictures in an album, but also checks how they behave. Imagine that you have smart security, very smart, not Arab, smart, which not only checks your documents, panties, bra, etc. at the entrance, but also watches you in the building to make sure that you are not up to anything bad. If a file turns out to be suspicious or starts doing something strange, the antivirus will notice and stop it, or Allah Akbar will do it. I think this is an ironclad argument. If you have any questions, just buy a sponsorship and ask them in the comments. I am ready to acknowledge only sponsors of my channel. But if suddenly you still want to ask a question that I am really ready to answer, you can write to us on Discord or Telegram. I will answer there too. I don't really answer in the comments, you know. Okay, I'll continue. I won't say what those two files do or how dangerous they are. Just stop using them and that's it. By the way, do you know why antivirus software doesn't check TLauncher? You might say, digital signature, right? You're fucking wrong. But again, of course, there will be a lot of text, sorry. But you need to somehow explain everything about the digital signature, because it's your security. I don't give AF *****. I don't monitor it. I use a completely different launcher, ahem. The digital signature itself is intended to confirm the authenticity and integrity of the software, not to bypass antivirus protection. However, there are real situations where it can be used to bypass or deceive antivirus programs. How can a digital signature help in bypassing antivirus protection? First, it is trust in the signed files. Many antiviruses by default trust files with a valid digital signature from reputable publishers, because these signatures are considered verified and safe. Malware can use stolen or black market certificates for signing to avoid suspicion. And here is one example: malware, Stuxnet, using certificates stolen from Realtek and Micro. This is still a very small case, which, unfortunately, was revealed. And then, if it is much worse, but then again, YouTube will ban me for this. To bypass the antivirus system, if anything. And here, again, there is a description. There are left a block on this, where everything is indicated and so on. The second is bypassing US control. In Windows, all programs with a valid signature can receive elevated privileges without additional warnings, which can be used by malware to increase its rights in the system. And the third, disguise as legitimate software. If malicious code is signed with a certificate that appears legitimate, antivirus programs can skip it, considering it part of trusted software. But there are situations when it does not work, or is less effective. Updated signatures and heuristic analysis. That's everybody analysis. That's it, let's move on. Here you go. I don't know how to read it correctly. I'm not Russian at all, leave me alone. In short, modern antiviruses do not rely only on signature recognition. They use heuristic analysis, real-time program behavior checking, and other methods that can detect malware even with a digital signature. Second, we have something called publisher reputation checking. Advanced antiviruses can check not only the signature itself, but also the reputation of the publisher or certificate. If the certificate has been used to sign malware before, it can be marked as unreliable. There is also something called centralized certificate tracking. There are systems and services that track the use and revocation of certificates. If a certificate is revoked due to suspicion of its use for malicious purposes, antiviruses can recognize this and block the software signed with it. The fourth thing is behavior analysis. Even if the malware has a digital signature, its suspicious actions such as unusual network traffic, changes in system files, or launching suspicious processes can cause alarm in antiviruses that use behavioral analysis. But the most unpleasant thing, of course, is that it is considered a complex antivirus solution. Solutions that include several layers of protection, such as sandboxes, emulations, machine learning-based analysis, can, of course, be detected by malware, even if it is signed. Unfortunately, there are very few such antiviruses, and do not think that Kaspersky has this, or some other nobody's antiviruses. I only know of one antivirus that really has this capability. But this is the premium version. In the free version, you will not be given this at all. In conclusion, a digital signature can be used to try to bypass the antivirus system. But as technology and protection methods develop, this strategy is becoming less and less effective. Antivirus programs are increasingly using a comprehensive approach to security, which takes into account not only the presence of a digital signature, but also many other factors. By the way, I'll go back to launchers again. Lectures, but I will say that the point is not in the signature, but in root rights.
Just a minute, more information. Root rights on a PC. It's like being a king in your own castle. When you have these rights, you can do whatever you want. Change any settings, install any programs, even those that may be dangerous or not intended for ordinary users. This is the maximum level of access to the computer, where you can manage everything as you want, but with great power comes great responsibility. You can accidentally break something important, or at least break your entire frame and lose your account on the online Fanta.
Do you see this button? This button? Yes. And this one? Yes. It's a beautiful thing. And without it, the voucher won't launch. And here's the answer to the question. How do you give permission for this killer to be installed? That is, by clicking on it, it gets full rights on your PC to do whatever it wants. So if the program requires it, maybe you should look for an alternative? Now let's talk about data theft and other things. That's how the question sounds. Does the launcher steal our data and licenses? Or does it not? I think I need a yoga mat now. Oops. To calm down while sitting. Okay, I'll reveal this little secret. I'll start by saying that this is true, and many people complained about this phenomenon before the revelation. Although wait, the joke is in the code again, but now I'll show it in a different format. Maybe you'll understand. Here, for example, is my code. I actually rewrote it in Go, because it was written in PHP. But I apologize for showing it in it. But this is the only way I can demonstrate the moments where it is safe. And I also indicated comments in the code for you, in which places it is unsafe. By the way, TLauncher uses such a system. I'll repeat myself again. Here is another very similar system. Okay, by the way, I would like to mention one detail. Antivirus can be updated with just one code. I was talking about that archive during installation. Here is the code that I had to rework in Rust, because it was written in Java. And change the names a little, but the function is similar. Now about data theft. It's actually beautifully written in the privacy policy. But if you're smart enough to understand what, and not just some rephrasing of some words, then kudos to you. If not, then listen carefully. Again, listen very carefully, because this is a policy that you automatically agree to. Well, just leave a checkbox like you've read everything, but in fact you haven't read anything. Again, pay attention. Collection of information. Personal information when creating an account and other actions. We collect information and indicate it to you when you create an account through TLauncher software products. That is, they are already collecting some information for us, right? Yeah, well done! The next one is technical information. The TLauncher program version 2.0 collects minimal information about your computer. That is, minimally. That is, more specifically, many immediately respond to video cards, computer, processor. This, of course, does not seem to interest us. Right. I think so. Use of information. Data anonymization. We can use your again. Right now, listen carefully. We can use your personal information indirectly by transforming it into information that does not allow you to resist personally. That is, here you can notice that they can get our personal information. Now read carefully. We can use your personal information. We can stop here. But then they write that they allegedly do not receive your data. Although at the beginning they directly indicated this. This is clearly abnormal. That is, they automatically show you that they already have our personal information. But they say that we are hiding it. But in fact, they already receive our personal information. They cannot immediately receive some from personal information. No, they already have this personal information. Information exchange. With third parties, we can use your personal information to provide analytical results regarding our users in aggregate, including analytical data to our potential partners, recommenders, and other third parties. Again, it is indicated that they still receive our personal information in full. We can also exchange your personal information with third-party partners if you have agreed to receive an offer or newsletters from third parties. Again, you yourself agree that your data will be taken and can literally even be sold. One might even say sold. And not just taken, but sold. I now, of course, well, when I studied it again for the second time, that is, to check, maybe I made a mistake somewhere. But no, I didn't make a mistake anywhere. This is really stated. They can even really say sell your data. That is, they get full rights, because you yourself signed this agreement. And not just transfer, but again sell. There is no point in stating this directly, because if they do, even a schoolchild will guess that this data will be sold. But a few smart words and paraphrasing allow you to pull the wool over your eyes. Listen further. Protection of rights and transfer of assets. Protection of rights. We will share personal information if you have reasonable grounds to believe that. Share personal information again. Again. Personal information. Again. Keep that in mind. Because it is already indicated that TLauncher has your personal information. And they do not hide it. Read the agreement policy carefully. Transfer of assets if our company is involved in a merger, acquisition, or other transaction. Again, and again. That is, transfer. They transfer everything. And again the part where during the installation you give an agreement that you will not return against the theft of your personal information and its sale. And it is not on reasonable grounds, but just for money. Although I would do it myself for money. But fortunately or unfortunately, I am not TLauncher. No, rather unfortunately, I would do it for money too. Okay, you saw the truth about it yourself. You give permission for your data to be stolen, sold, and even spied on. The privacy policy is rephrased in such a way that even an experienced user may not immediately understand it. As for viruses, most likely they are just spying on you. Minor or something like that, I did not notice. I will note that if you think that your computer lags after this launcher because there is a minor. Alas, this is not manners, but ordinary surveillance. Oh, it's even a shame. Well, the worst thing is that your Minecraft data can actually be stolen. This is again due to what they wrote in the agreement policy, so I advise you to carefully read each point. What they hide in the code is again just surveillance, and reworked code aimed at your licensed account. Now the most important thing, about isolated connections. Nobody understood what it is. However, if you are an experienced person and understand cybersecurity, then I will please you. It means you heard how it works. If not, then another lecture for you. Firstly, now there will be a lot of text about this again. But forgive me for being such a do ******. An isolated network can be made to protect data from external threats, for example, to prevent information leakage or attacks on the network. Second, control over distribution. Developers or administrators can use an isolated network to control who can download what files, and even, perhaps, to protect copyright and restrict the distribution of certain content. Next is hiding sources. An isolated network can be used to hide the true sources of files, making them available only through the internal infrastructure. The question is, how can this be tracked? Listen carefully. First, wire share or similar tools. Even in an isolated network, you can try to analyze the traffic, but this will require access to this network, which is not always possible or legal. The second is software analysis. For example, more precisely, debugging or decompiling. If you have a DOS in the program, you can try to understand how it communicates with the isolated network. But this requires deep knowledge and can be difficult due to the potential use of omission or code protection. Or you can just watch the behavior of the program. That is, monitoring system calls. Tools like Process Monitor can show how a program interacts with the network or file system, but only within the system where it is running. Now let me tell you the whole truth about why this is impossible to track with TLauncher. First, the physical network. If the network is physically isolated, then without direct access to it, or equipment, tracking traffic or data links becomes impossible. Next is data encryption and protection. If data is encrypted before transmission, and the encryption keys are not available for data analysis, becomes extremely difficult. Limited access. If you do not have access to the network, or to the servers from which the files are downloaded, the sources being monitored or the program's behavior on this network will simply be limited. But also legal and ethical restrictions. Trying to break into an isolated network without permission can be illegal, so it's important to consider the legal aspects. And considering that this is a launcher, albeit a completely pirated launcher, which violates half of Microsoft's EULA. But damn, he has money. It decides everything. And you know, I also read such an interesting fairy tale. Here, a very cool one. Here, every second YouTuber told it there. Oh. Here's a fairy tale about Kurt Warsh prohibiting downloading mods for pirated launchers. At the moment of average available information, Kurt Warsh, or more precisely Overwolf, does not have an official policy explicitly prohibiting the creation and installation of mods through pirated launchers. That is, in theory you might say, it is possible to implement the system in the pirate launcher KurtForge. But it was not so. You can check it yourself, or even ask the KurtForge administration or Microsoft about it. But there are some downsides, because KurtForge, well, how can I say? Formally, it belongs to this company, Overwolf. But the policies they act on belong to Microsoft. That is, they of course serve Microsoft policy. And God forbid they violate anything. That's it, they're done for, basically. And Microsoft policy prohibits the use of pirated launchers, such as TLauncher and KLauncher. And not only KVamcher, Ego Savamcher is also on there. So the blacklist was created not by KurtForge, but by Microsoft. And that's even normal. However, launchers that have complete freedom in terms of code and are supported by a license, such as GPL, I call it an ass. Well, okay, it's also okay. Or mid, no problem. It is best to place such launchers on GitHub to avoid problems. That is, firstly, GitHub can analyze what you change, what files are changed there, and also check the community. That is, the community will always be active. And there is no point in being afraid that there will be viruses. I will give an example of two Chinese launchers, XMCL and Flume Launcher, which fully comply with these licenses, and no one has complained about them yet. So think about this launcher, and its opening lat. And now such an important question, how to remove TLauncher. Again, it's entirely your choice. You can stay with their policy or not. But I'll tell you about the most reliable way for extreme cases. Firstly, yes, you can install and delete them in a simple way, but they remain, firstly, in the registry, and secondly, some of their data remains and not everything is deleted. So download at least PC Uninstaller. Especially if for all systems. Second, find the KeyLauncher in this list. Uncheck the backup and silent installation options. Then kill the KeyLauncher process if it is running. After deleting, you will be prompted to delete it from the registry and clean up the remains. Agree and delete. Now about launchers. I will not say anything else. Look for alternatives yourself. But if you need help, I have a Discord server or a Telegram channel if you have problems with Discord, where you can ask this question. I will try to find a launcher for you that will be completely safe and open source, but which will also suit your needs. Anyway, decide for yourself. I hope we won't come back to this again. And to everyone who was with me, see you soon, see you soon, see you soon for new adventures. Bye.